Listen to 531 PI wherever you are on the iHeartRadio app.
Malone Lane, welcome back to Pacific Mornings with Aggie here on 531 PI. 9 minutes past 7 o'clock. Now, we do understand the Budget 2022 announcement will be made this Thursday. And, of course, those working in the education sector are waiting to see how the government will fund aspects of their sector. So joining to talk us this morning about that is Principal of Rowandale School, none other than Karl Vasau. So with that, I say whakalavala yatu and welcome to the show this morning.
Good morning, Aggie. I hope you're well and warm.
Yes, absolutely. I hope you are too, because I know that winter is upon us, and with winter comes all things in regards to this budget, whether or not it's going to warm up, the education sector itself. I mean, really, Carl, at the essence of everything, what are you actually, I suppose yourself and mostly of the education sector, expecting from this announcement this Thursday in regards to the education?
Yeah, so I think what we need to remember as a sector and as a country is that under this government, we've seen many areas, especially in education, where they've worked really hard to bridge the gap between the huge underinvestment and underfunding from the past. And so just trying to make sure that, we get to a place where we're acknowledged as an important part of New Zealand and as an important part of, of our country moving forward. So that desire from this government, we've seen many areas, but we all know that there's still a long way to go and there's still very much more to do. So I'm looking forward to this Thursday, hearing about all the new money and all the strengthening in areas money, rather than possibly seeing some reallocation of money to a different focus. It's important that we invest, and we're looking forward to seeing this stuff this Thursday.
Carl, is it that, like you said, it's not reinvesting or reallocating something to the same old thing? So what areas of education are you actually seeing? I hear you want to see new things, but why do you think then also that, is the government not prepped enough? Are they not advised enough of where the money should go?
Oh, I think that the government is very well prepped, very well supported, very well informed. What we've seen in the past is that, if you're going to see an increase in certain areas, of course, there's a give and take. And sometimes as governments, they reprioritize or they change direction. And then those funds are moved to different areas. It's like in your own home. And as people, we live in our own homes. If we would like to focus on buying, say, a brand new bike, if we're going to buy a brand new bike, there needs to be sometimes something else that gives, or we don't focus on certain things and we give up certain things. But then every now and then we've had an increase in our funding, or, we've got a new job, or we've got a pay rise. So we use what we call, our new money to pay for that, so that we don't put anything else, at risk or change any of our underspending. And so as a sector, we'd like to see that, all of these priorities we've got in place, the way in which we're going at the moment, let's carry on in certain areas, because we don't want to see those things fall over or funding for those pulled.
I love that. If you're tuning in, we're catching up with Principal of Rowandale School, of course, Karl Vasau. How then maybe can the government sort of communicate better, though, with teachers who are working on the ground level? Do you think like you've been heard?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we have been heard. But, there's so many things that we want to make sure that they're heard. So say, for example, an increase to our operations grants. And every school gets an operations grant that what they use to run their school and to better educate their children. So we want to see a real good increase to that keeps up with the current, cost of living or the climate that we're in. Lots of my friends, principal colleagues and teachers want to see an increase to staffing levels that mean that lower class sizes. So an investment in this means that our teachers in our schools can better connect, better teach our children. So lower class levels, which, can only come from an increase in staffing. Okay. Some of them were talking about increases to centralized funding. Well, the creation of centralized funding for teacher aides. We know that learning support assistants and teacher aides are vital to connecting and supporting teachers with their jobs in the classroom. So this investment or this value of teacher aides is really, really important. We know our students come from diverse different backgrounds and learning needs. So we need to make sure that the funding this Thursday also acknowledges the need for better support of schools to cater for these diverse needs of their students. Professional development is massive too, Aggie. And I think in order for us to move forward, people need to be upskilled, or people need to be able to share their knowledge with others. And so professional development, like, that we already currently see, where it's growing leadership and it's growing teachers, it's growing support staff to better cater for the needs of Pacifica, especially in cultural competence, especially as being able to deliver messages to their community or to their students in a culturally responsive way. We want to see, we've already seen a slight investment in this, but we want to see that ramped up, so that more schools and more teachers, more support staff, more communities can engage. Finally, there's this huge list of what we want to see this week, but finally, maybe even when we think about well-being, more than ever, we need counselors and we need social workers working in all schools to support our children, our staff, and our community to re-engage or to get back to a life that's normal. And so there needs to be an investment in seeing these schools need these valuable people to work alongside them, to re-engage and to get their children back to school. And so, these are some of the ways in which, if the government really wants to listen to teachers or to listen to us, they need to address these. But of course, this year, we see so many of us renegotiating our collective claims, renegotiating our collective agreements as teachers, support staff, principals, etc., etc. So, if the government really wants to value what we've put in place, value all the work we've done over the years, we really do need them to come to the table this year when we're doing our collective agreements with an open mind, not with a closed set of views that, we've got to be tight on fiscal spending and, there's a pause too, or, we need them to come to that table ready to keep us in the game and to keep our schools funded and well taught.
Love that. Such a hearty response. Hey, look, if there's anyone that is tuning in via our Facebook Live, feel free to comment on there. New research, though, Karl, says that children, teenage students in our Pacifica communities were the ones that were mostly affected, by the pandemic. Have you actually seen this firsthand? I know we've spoken a little bit more, but do you feel that it is correct, those stats?
I think wherever you go, the schools that you will talk to know exactly how COVID has affected their families. And for our community where we have, a large number of Pacific, we've seen firsthand how COVID has had a detrimental effect. We've seen how it's affected not only children engagement, but their slow return back to school. We know the gaps for our children, and when we see a child or we work with a child, every school has this projected plan in relation to where they want to see their children achieve, or setting goals as a school. And we know that, if they're not in front of us in the classroom, seeing our face, seeing our mouth, move instead of having a mask over the top, we know how this can affect their learning. We know that, COVID has had a huge effect currently on the cost of living, on poverty. It's so hard to live these days, and so not only are we focused as educators on what the government will be providing in this budget in relation to education, but we're looking to see how the social things in relation to our communities will also be catered for this week. So helping our families live and the cost of living, bringing more people out of poverty and hardship. What are their plans? Where are they? First home buyers and the stress this causes for some of our communities. More jobs for our communities. What is the plan to make sure that there is an increase and to support small businesses or businesses, pay people living wages? It's not that easy just to say, we want to pay people living wage. Supporting these businesses to do this, benefits increased, training and upskilling our communities. All of these things have had a detrimental effect on all our communities. And when we have an effect on our families, on our parents, this will have a spin-off on our children. And so we're seeing this come into school. So a massive, massive focus on fixing not just the child, but the whole picture.
Love it. As always, Karl, you give such great insight to what is happening on the ground level. And thank you so much just for your time this morning, Karl. Always appreciate it. And have a great day today.
Thank you.